Over the last 24 hours, we've gotten some pretty big news regarding two top NHL prospects that I wanted to give my quick thoughts on in today's video. This is a little bit different than the videos that I've been posting on the channel throughout the month of June so far, but if you guys are interested in this type of content more often, maybe a couple news videos sprinkled in throughout the week, then be sure to leave this video a like. That's the best way to let me know that you enjoyed. And if this is your first time checking out the channel and you want more NHL content just like this all throughout the year, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. And with that all being said, let's go ahead and start off the video with the news that came out yesterday regarding Winnipeg Jets top prospect Rutger McGroarty. McGroarty was selected 14th overall by the Winnipeg Jets in 2022, and not only is he the Jets' top prospect, he's one of the top prospects in the entire league. He captained Team USA to gold in the most recent World Junior Tournament. He finished first on the University of Michigan in points per game this past season with 52 in just 36 games. He's a prospect who is expected to be a massive part of the Winnipeg Jets' future, however, that no longer looks like the case. McGroarty recently announced that he will be returning to the University of Michigan next season for his junior year, which came as a surprise. A lot of people figured that after two very strong seasons in the NCAA after being drafted, McGroarty would be ready to turn pro next season and make an impact in the NHL for the Jets. And based off of all the reports we've been getting, it sounds like that's what Rutger McGroarty wanted to do, but there seems to be some kind of disconnect between him and the Jets organization. I'm going to read you guys a little bit of this article by Murat Ates. Hopefully I'm saying that name properly. I apologize if I butchered it, but Murat is a Jets beat writer for The Athletic. I'll leave a link to the full article down below in the description. If you guys don't have an Athletic subscription, you won't be able to read it, but it's only $1 a month, and I highly recommend getting one. The Winnipeg Jets 2022 first-round pick, Rutger McGroarty, is likely to be traded, a league source told The Athletic on Saturday. This confirms and adds to Elliot Friedman's report on the 32 Thoughts podcast that McGroarty's name has come up in trade discussions and that the Jets have discussed trading and other teams have discussed acquiring McGroarty's rights. The league source indicated that McGroarty's view of his long-term future in Winnipeg changed since the conclusion of the NCAA season. Winnipeg wanted to sign McGroarty to a professional contract in April, but was unwilling to promise a path to playing time, whereas McGroarty's University of Michigan teammates Frank Nazar and Gavin Brindley signed with Chicago and Columbus respectively and played NHL games like McGroarty's former teammates Adam Fantilli and Luke Hughes did last season. Sometimes a collegiate player will sign and step right into the NHL, helping the team in the playoffs. Matthew Knies did this in 2023, and Cale Makar did it back in 2019. The Jets didn't view McGroarty as ready to make that kind of an impact, nor were they ready to guarantee him a roster spot in the NHL next season. McGroarty could sign and come to training camp, but risked being demoted to the AHL instead of trying to lead Michigan to a national championship. Jets GM Kevin Cheveldayoff characterized McGroarty's decision to return to Michigan instead of signing with Winnipeg this way. "We made it very open to him at the onset that we were more than willing to sign him, more than willing to turn him pro, but in the same token, we need him to make that decision for what he feels is best for his development." Cheveldayoff said in May, "I think Rutger is looking for an even bigger role where he can help lead a team to greatness and help his development there." So I'll leave it there. Again, if you're interested in reading more, link to the article down below in the description. I highly recommend getting an Athletic subscription. It is well worth it. So you can add Rutger McGroarty's name to the list of top tier trade candidates for the 2024 offseason, and I really think this is a pretty bad look for the Jets. It doesn't sound like this is a scenario where Rutger McGroarty just didn't want to play in Winnipeg. He's a prospect who felt like he was ready to make an impact in the NHL, and the Jets just weren't willing to give him that opportunity yet. Now at the same time, yes, those opportunities have to be earned, but I don't think it would have hurt the Winnipeg Jets to sign him to his ELC back in April and give him some NHL games to close out this past season. To be fair, Winnipeg was in a much different situation back in April than teams that were mentioned in the article, like Columbus and Chicago, who signed Frank Nazar and Gavin Brindley respectively and gave them some NHL games towards the end of the season. Every game counted down the stretch for the Winnipeg Jets. They were battling for home ice in the playoffs in their first round matchup with the Colorado Avalanche. But even with all that being said, there comes a point where you have to let the young guys play. You have to prioritize the development of your top prospects because they are the future of your team. This is the same Winnipeg Jets team that was criticized for how they deployed Cole Perfetti down the stretch this season and into the playoffs. Healthy scratches, lack of playing time, which led to Cole Perfetti's name being thrown around in trade rumors. Ville Heinola is another one, the Jets' 20th overall selection from 2019. Since being drafted, he has just had stop and start after stop and start in the NHL, has never really gotten an extended look with the Winnipeg Jets, despite the fact that that when he has gotten looks in the NHL, he's played very well, and over the last few seasons, he's been one of the best defensemen in the entire American Hockey League. It feels like Hanola's name has been thrown around in trade rumors for years now. The Jets are a team that are kind of already at a disadvantage as it is, in the sense that they're not a free agent destination. They're not one of those premier cities that guys want to go and play for because they have nice weather all year round or great tax benefits or things like that. So on top of that, the Jets really cannot afford to start losing homegrown talent and former first-round draft picks, not even because these prospects don't want to play in the city, but because of development issues. All in all, this is just a very shitty situation for the Winnipeg Jets, who I don't think are going to get fair value back in a trade for Rutger McGroarty. Now with this all being public information, teams are going to lowball Winnipeg with trade offers because they know Winnipeg has to move him, because if they don't, McGroarty could just return to the University of Michigan for his 4th season, and then after his 4-year collegiate career can be an unrestricted free agent and sign wherever he wants. An easy comparison here would be the Cutter Gauthier trade that took place back in January. After Cutter Gauthier made it clear to Philadelphia that he did not plan on signing with them, he was dealt to the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for Jamie Drysdale and a 2025 second-round draft pick. I don't think that's exactly the kind of return Winnipeg could be looking at, because I do feel like Cutter Gauthier at the time he was dealt was viewed as a little bit more valuable than Rutger McGroarty is right now, given the fact that Cutter Gauthier was a 5th overall selection in 2022. But I think something maybe in that same ballpark is something we could expect as a return for Winnipeg in a Rutger McGroarty trade. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. As always, I want to know what you guys are thinking, so let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on this whole situation between McGroarty and the Jets, and who are some teams that you think should trade for Rutger McGroarty? All your thoughts, leave them down below. But before we finish out this video, there is another bit of news that I want to talk a little bit about in regards to another top NHL prospect, Matvei Michkov, the Philadelphia Flyers' 7th overall selection from 2023. At the time of the 2023 NHL draft, it was expected that Matvei Michkov would not be able to join the Philadelphia Flyers until the 2026-27 season due to his contract obligations with SKA in the KHL. However, over these last couple of weeks, there's been some rumors floating around that Matvei Michkov could join the Philadelphia Flyers as soon as next season, and based off of everything that's came out today, it sounds like those are no longer rumors, and that is exactly what is going to be happening. Matvei Michkov is now expected to be a Philadelphia Flyer next season. This was reported by various different outlets and people. Anthony DeMarco and Hockey News Hub seemed to be the first ones on this, both very reliable sources in regards to Matvei Michkov news since he was selected 7th overall in 2023. And Elliot Friedman also commented on this, saying there is something to this. Obviously nothing is done until it is done, but there is optimism. Michkov and Philadelphia are closing in. And of course, I don't have to explain to you guys how reputable of a source Elliot Friedman is. And Pierre LeBrun, who's also a very reputable source, seemed to confirm this 100% when he tweeted, "Sources confirm SKA will give Michkov his release on Monday. Source says it's based on compassionate grounds. Michkov's father passing away a year ago. JP Barry and Pat Brisson of CAA Hockey secured the rights to represent Michkov a few weeks ago and are working in collaboration with agent Paul Theophanos and have been working on his release." Guaranteed I absolutely butchered that name, but the rest of the tweet says, "Once he's released, Michkov should be on this side of the ocean and joining the Flyers in 1 to 2 weeks depending on immigration visa process." This is absolutely massive news for the Philadelphia Flyers. If teams would have known it was only going to be 1 season before Matvei Michkov came over to North America, I guarantee you he would have gone a lot higher than 7th overall. Matvei Michkov has all the potential in the world to be a franchise winger, one of the best players from the 2023 draft class. He had 41 points in 47 games with Sochi HC in the KHL this past season, one of the best seasons in KHL history by a player 19 years old or younger. The only 19-year-old who ever had more points in a KHL season than Michkov was Kirill Kaprizov, who had 42 points in 49 games back in 2016-17. This is very exciting news for the Philadelphia Flyers and their fans. Getting him over this early is only going to be beneficial for his development. These past 24 hours have really gotten people starting to think maybe we should be talking about the American factor heading into NHL drafts as opposed to the Russian factor, because it is starting to happen more and more often where American prospects use their college eligibility to force their way out of an NHL situation. Rutger McGroarty now can be added to the list if he does end up getting traded, which it sounds like he's going to. Cutter Gauthier. Obviously, Adam Fox was a big one years ago, and now just one day after that McGroarty news came out, it's basically confirmed Michkov is coming to the NHL next season, so definitely something interesting to think about there. But that is pretty much going to wrap up today's video, going over the Rutger McGroarty and Matvei Michkov news. Like I mentioned previously in the video, I always want to know what you guys are thinking, so be sure to sound off down below in the comments. Let me know how you feel about everything we covered in this video. If you got all the way to the end of the video and you enjoyed yourself and you want more news videos like this on the channel sprinkled in throughout the week, then be sure to leave a like. It's the best way to let me know that you enjoyed, and it does help out the videos a ton. And most importantly, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want more NHL content just like this all year round, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you all again soon.